Can you put the slide up, please?
Hello, Claire.
Hi there, I'm Claire Grace. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining this summit and welcome to the Global Welcome Summit 2026, Claire. And before going to start your session, I want to introduce you to our audience. Claire Eve Grace is a mother, homesteader, and entrepreneur living in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where she has spent nearly a decade devoted to homemaking, homeschooling, and nurturing her family in alignment with nature and seasonal living. Motherhood became a transformative journey that led her to rediscover her identity and step into entrepreneurship, partnering with companies that provide clean, life giving water solutions for families. Through her work, she now supports personal growth, financial empowerment, and legacy building, inspiring others to live aligned, nourished, and purpose driven lives. That was in a great bio, Claire, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Will you put the first slide up, please? Thank you. So, as she said, I'm wife, mother, homemaker, homesteader, free birther, homeschooler, pretty much everything homemade, and now entrepreneur and water specialist. So, here, this slide and the next slide, you can go to the next slide, shows a little bit about our colorful home life, all the food we cook, and the baking, the gardening, all the fun we have with our 4 children, walking in the forest. Next slide. Thank you. All right. So, hydrated women dream beyond the horizon. This is my title for this presentation. So, what does that mean? Aren't we all hydrated? Well, we should be, right? So many women, myself included, are living below their unknown potential. It's almost like criminal for them to dream their deepest desires, for they're thinking about either their next meal, their to do list, the pain in the back, or they're repeating ancestral limiting beliefs. So, quite literally, oftentimes mothers are sucked dry from their milk supply or depleted in being needed 24/7. I know for me, after 8 years of being pregnant, nursing, changing diapers, inconsistent sleep, devoting myself to fragile little beings, my love had surely grown, but my self neglect was taking a toll. I was treading water just to stay afloat, especially without my family nearby. Raise your hand if anyone else can relate to that. Next slide, please. So, when I said there, hydrated women dream beyond the horizon, we need to first understand that so many of us are unknowingly dehydrated. In fact, 75% of the US population is clinically dehydrated. And this is not just because they're not drinking enough water, but it's because the kind of water they're drinking is contaminated, full of microplastics, or stripped of its minerals. And this is water that has lost its life energy. So, off slide, please. This is water that's not supporting, but adding to the toxic. Remove the slide, please. But adding to the toxic overload and cellular stress we are experiencing daily. Just no, go back, but off slide so they can just see my face. So, this is water that is adding to the toxic overload all around us. You know, I never thought to ask, like, what is in our water? I didn't grow up asking that question. You should be able to assume it's right. This is not what our ancestors used to ask. What's in the water? I wonder if it's contaminated. No, it was once this pristine element we had gifted, right? But I didn't know how much our family's life would change when we changed our water. So how did I get here? A water specialist, empowered mama now. How is someone who would struggle to get dressed in the morning, used to hustle for free food, I saved scraps, only shopping discount items at the store. Now I'm speaking at a global women's empowerment conference. So let's hear my story. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I grew up with loving parents. They truly did the best with what they knew. We had beautiful home, great schools, after gymnastics and dance, regular luxury vacations, nice clothes, cars, all that we needed, right? But what we didn't always have was time. And as a little girl, I couldn't articulate this, but I felt it. There was something in me that wanted deeper nourishment, more presence, more connection, more family togetherness. As a self conscious teenager, wanting to fit in, wanting to be popular and thin, food became an obsessive and unhealthy mental condition for me. I was counting calories, planning out meals, workouts and outfits were planned out for the entire week. I was trying to control everything. Raise your hand if you can relate to that. Over time, this was weighing on me. I looked great on the outside, but I didn't know the deep, fulfilling joy I was missing. I was angry at how lost we'd become as a modern culture. Families weren't woven into community anymore. Everyone seemed to be doing their own thing, successful, yes, maybe, but separate. And were they really happy? And here's what I began to understood is that when we lose that deep connection, no amount of more material things will ever fill that space with true feelings of safety and stability. What did help me get through these inner struggles during that time was yoga meditation, which set me off on a deep, deep healing journey. Next slide. After doing what everyone else did, going to university, I left. I spent 7 years backpacking the world, primarily in Thailand and India. I lived with what fit in my backpack. Next slide, please. Thank you. And I went where the wind blew me. I expanded my horizons, challenged my conditioned belief, and learned about the world beyond the physical realm. I met families of 6 living with their grandmother in one room houses, beds rolled out at night in the kitchen. People who made less in a month than I spent on a weekend. And when I visited, they offered their beds, their food, their warmth, their smiles. And that kind of generosity will change you when they're sharing their home, their food, their love with you, and they don't even know you. I learned I could sleep under the stars. I could sleep on the floor. I could wait 17 hours for a late train. I could release my fears and sing on stage. I could learn new languages, cultures, religions with an open heart. I learned that gratitude feels better than luxury. Then everything shifted. Next slide. I met my soulmate in India. The first moment of connection felt like years of a deep known bond. Within a month, we jumped in the deep waters full of trust, committed to start a family and a farm together. When you know, you know. We were pregnant before we had jobs, a settled home, or a true engagement. But we trusted the process and our unique timing. Our foundation of trust allowed us to move forward without fear or what others think is the right way. Next slide, please. Then motherhood came. Having my first child was everything I dreamed of, and it broke me open in ways I never expected. Alongside the beauty came the reality that required a next level human upgrade. Farming was all consuming, homesteading isn't cheap, living intentionally required constant investment, and finances began to weigh on us. We wanted to do it all, but the reality of my husband having to leave home for a job seemed to be the only way. Next slide. What could I do at home with my babies? We went to food distributions. I picked up free items on the side of the road. I even cleaned and saved plastic bags to reuse. And suddenly my house was cluttered with things I didn't even want out of desperation. I was a slave to my own doing, picking up, keeping track, putting away, stressing over lost pieces, saving scraps, saving bags. I had previously escaped materialism. In my years of solo meditation and worldly exploration, only to feel buried by this in a different phase of my life. Next slide, please. Yet I still held on. As a mother drowning, I still held on to joy, gratitude, remembering what little people had all around the world. So I free birthed our next three children at home, meaning no medical care, no midwives, fully supported by my husband, my rock, fully trusting my body, fully trusting creation. These were the most empowering experiences of my life. And this initiation into motherhood is what so many women need in order to step bravely into the roller coaster ride that motherhood is. Anyhow, homeschooling, homesteading, homemaking, mothering four children. This is more than one woman can handle, right? I slowly stopped taking care of myself in order to keep up, in order to not be drowning in more dishes and more laundry. I slowly stopped taking care of myself. My husband worked incredibly hard as a carpenter, but the money moved fast. I found myself in this internal battle. I valued health so much, but I couldn't afford what I believed my family deserved. I valued time together, but we had to pay the bills, right? So I decided to start, with a little bit of energy I had left over, a YouTube channel. And let me tell you, for someone who resisted mainstream technology for years, I was the last to get an iPhone of my friends. That was humbling. The effort was enormous, but I did it anyways. I went for it a full year. Zero return on money, by the way. So I stopped. I realized I needed to stop and pause and reflect. So 3 months of pause, I said, I'm just going to focus on mothering, being with my children, taking care of the home and myself. And that was lovely. Next slide, please. 3 months later, a woman I had met in Thailand in a little mountain village 10 years earlier reconnected with me, and I saw something different in her. Go back a slide. She was different. She wasn't struggling anymore. She was vibrant. She was grounded. She was financially empowered, mothering 2 children out in Wyoming, leading community around water and wellness. I needed to know what she was doing. I joined a virtual event and found myself in tears, ready to jump into the unknown waters based on this inner knowing. By the end of the call, I was ready to invest 20 grand. The cost didn't matter to me anymore. I was like, oh, I'll just get the smallest thing, the basic, the 5 grand. No, I was ready to jump in big time. I knew we had to go big to change the story we had been sold our entire lives. So the old me would have turned away with sticker shock and not even had a look, right? But the new me knew there was something more for our family. Was I scared? Yes, absolutely. Was I excited? Yes. But I finally understood that playing small to feel safe was no longer safe. Playing small to feel safe, playing small to feel safe was no longer safe. And that decision to invest boldly into myself was the moment I stopped surviving and started leading. And that is why I believe empowered women shape global change. Because it begins with one woman, her story, deciding she's done shrinking. For if my friend had kept her big mouth shut, she would have not helped my family dream beyond the horizon. If Chantel had kept her big mouth shut, she would not have helped my family dream beyond the horizon. Next slide. Next slide. So between Aging infrastructure, environmental contamination, chlorine byproducts, forever chemicals, etc. That simply isn't the case in most places where our waters are pristine and safe anymore, right? So, could changing our water change our health? Could it support my family's health? I didn't need guarantees, I needed willingness. The day our water system arrived felt like a pivoting day in the story of our family's life. My husband hooked it up that night. I was taking photos, getting footage. The kids were jumping around, yelling, hydrogen water, hydrogen water. It felt like magic. But I didn't go looking for miracles. I simply paid attention. Within a month, the eczema on my hands between my fingers that I had had for 5 years disappeared. Cysts on my back just fell off. I thought they'd be there forever. Hormonal acne settled, and lifetimes of snack cravings went away. The inflammation on my husband's body reduced, and he uses his body all day long. The desire for him to drink and smoke stopped, and he started training for an ultra marathon. He ran 35 miles in the mountains. Our kids have not been sick, regardless of school changes, seasonal changes. It has been such a blessing. And what struck me the most was not the physical changes, it was the deep, deep sense of vitality and empowerment through this foundational health. So, when you strengthen the foundation of your life, of your health, of your water, everything on top of that becomes more stable. And what's so when a woman feels good in her body, she makes choices differently. She negotiates differently. She tolerates less. She dreams bigger. So I started my company, Water Rich Life. Rich water and rich life. We made the decision to put our kids in public school. So we swallowed up pride, releasing our identity, choosing sustainability over ego. And it had been fruitful. I'm still building this business with a 2-year-old at home. It's not glamorous, but it's aligned. We choose not to rely on Western doctors or buy into expensive insurance models. Instead, we chose to invest upstream into prevention for our family, right in our home, right at our faucet. That to me is empowerment. Next slide, please. So, molecular hydrogen, slide, please. Molecular hydrogen was discovered when scientists were studying blue zones all around the world. As they found people who were living beyond 100 years old were in places where hydrogen was rich in the water. And this has a role in reducing oxidative stress and supporting cellular health beyond the body. When we have healthy cells, we have a healthy body. Hydrogen is the first element on the periodic table, the smallest element in existence. It's what fuels the stars and the sun. When dissolved into water as molecular hydrogen, H2, it's a selective antioxidant, meaning it neutralizes damaging free radicals while supporting beneficial ones. It is the most potent antioxidant, reducing oxidative stress, which means it's reducing inflammation, anti aging, and it's reducing disease, which all stems from inflammation. If our bodies are largely water, 70%, why wouldn't I optimize my family's water that we drink every single day? For me, this investment is not about sales, it's about sovereignty. Because what do we truly have if we don't have our health? And when we're running on someone else's schedule, someone else's time, someone else's money. And there was something else. I was tired of buying cheap, ending up with broken things, having to buy over and over again. The quote, buy nice or buy twice, really shifted the way I saw investment versus cost. The real cost is in the lifetime value it gives you. Next slide. So this water ionizer I have, the Kangen machine, allows us to change the pH from 2.5 to 11.5, strongly acidic to strongly alkaline. This means I can use it for cleaning, laundry, beauty care, cooking, first aid. I can wipe the 2.5 on a wound, on a cold sore, anything. I don't have to depend on the stores anymore, on Amazon or plastic things that coming in plastic bottles, right? Who's done with that? So, not only reduces plastic waste, trips to the store, all that, but it's shifted the power back into our home. But then I saw something bigger, something that was more of an issue. Not everyone even had the foundation of clean water in their home to be able to use a Kangen water machine. The water ionizer, yes, has a filter on it, but it doesn't filter out all the things that are in our water these days. Our water is sadly so polluted. So I partner with a company that focuses on whole house filtration. It has advanced technology using nanofiltration, AGN silver, and sustainable coconut shell carbon. So many of the contaminants in our water enters our body through our skin, our lungs from hot showers, our cooking, our teeth brushing, our washing hands. People spend all this money on clean drinking water, but then they're still absorbing it through their showers. So what's the point, right? Why are you spending money on something when it's still finding other ways to enter your body? So for me, partnering with a US company that does whole house filtration was the way to go. And with the rising concerns globally around PFAs, those forever chemicals, we cannot afford to be passive. Next slide, please. This is informed leadership, not fear leadership. So here I show the blue zones. There's Japan and Greece and Italy and Costa Rica and one in California. So that is how the Japanese company discovered and produced these water ionizers, because people don't have access to go to spring water and fill up every day for their whole home and their whole family, right? So they using this to mimic nature. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, when a woman understands the impact behind what kind of water enters her body and enters her home, they have a choice to take aligned action when they have been, especially when they've been supported in accepting their deep, deep worth. You are worthy of clean water, yes. You are worthy of the best water, yes. Yes. So, claiming entrepreneurship requires us, of course, to release old habits, old views, old relationships, materials in our home that no longer serve us and are holding us back energetically. So now that I've took some time to do that, my dreams have become reality, and my passion allows me to build at home around my family schedule, not the other way around. And no one can really lead globally if they are dehydrated and depleted, right? No one can break glass ceiling if they are feeling shriveled, right? If you're dehydrated, you're shrinking. If you're hydrated, you're expanding, you're expansive. So if one's nervous system is constantly in survival mode, we cannot do this. So for me, it was water, was the missing piece that helped me shift from surviving to thriving. It just clicked when I was like, water, yes, duh. Why don't we know more about this? Next slide, please. So I cannot even describe how grateful I am to have stepped into this work that is truly mine, and it's so aligned work I can do on my own time. I can do it online, I can do it offline. I can stop when I'm bleeding. I can take rest without asking someone permission. I can stay home and snuggle my kid for an hour if I want to. Imagine imagine that, not having to ask permission to somebody else to listen to your own body. This is what women need. And for me, the greatest shift For me, the greatest shift wasn't financial, it was internal. And now, since giving myself permission to expand, I get to help those feelings. I get to help others having those feelings of the pull to move away from settling, to move away from being stuck in a system that is not aligned with their highest good. Next slide. For me, motherhood became the greatest catalyst for my leadership because when you are responsible for lives beyond your own, you find strength you didn't even know you had. You find courage you didn't even know was buried in there. You negotiate differently, you plan differently, you prioritize differently, right? What greater motivation is there than the future you're building that doesn't end with you? It continues after you, right? My son told me his dream was to live in Hawaii, surf the tsunami full moon, sell water machines, and live on an island in Hawaii selling water machines, surfing the tsunami full moon. What? I love it. So when women stop shrinking, we don't just change ourselves, we change other women. We change systems, we change economies, we change the possibilities of the future. So now I'm drinking clean, living, rich water that hydrates our family 6 times faster, supports all our immune systems and my bank account, allowing me to live in aligned action and not from stressful survival mode. Next slide. We are not here to compete. We're not here to compare. We all have our own journeys, our own traumas, our own history, our own issues, right? We all have something. It's a roller coaster ride. But we're here to rise together. All rivers flow to the same ocean. All rivers flow to the same ocean. Next slide. By being a living example, me, I help other women find the voice that holds the doubt. They might say, "Oh, maybe I could do that one day," right? But there's still a little piece of doubt within them. But I help them find that doubt so they can release it. Give it to the earth, give it to the cleansing fires, give it to God. Clear out the old so they can no longer deny what is theirs to uphold. So please, use the voice you were gifted. Speak your words boldly into existence. Do it for our mothers who didn't know how, and do it for our daughters to see what is possible beyond the horizon. Next slide. So, from my voice to yours, I thank you so much for being here, for listening. Thank you. Next slide, please. So, I invite you to connect with me if you haven't already, so that we can rise together. We can share our gifts. We can dream beyond the known of today. We have these boxes set up of what we think life looks like, right? And those give us some comfort, yes. But what if we peeked beyond those boxes, right? What if we let those down? What if we never did put those boxes down and we just stayed in our whole box this whole life? We would never know what we didn't know, right? So let's do this together. So now I'm going to give a little bit of time for questions. I would like to grace you with some clarity. Any questions about water or anything that sparks your curiosity for you? I'm going to check in the chats here. Why is self care, including hydration, essential for sustainable success? How important is mental clarity when women are pursuing bold visions. Why is mental clarity important for women who want to lead, innovate, and career change? Love that question. Okay, so right, so we all need to take care of ourselves in order to be successful, to be leaders, right? But how do we do that? And you're saying how important is mental clarity? Mental clarity, it's huge. If we're all disorganized in our brains, right? If we're this is linked to our water too. When we're dehydrated, what happens to our brain? Our brain is shrinking. We start to get headaches. How many people do you know have migraines and headaches, right? When we are hydrated, especially with H2, hydrogen water, this is the water, the element that can cross the blood brain barrier. People notice drastic changes in their headaches, in their clarity when they are drinking H2. So, not only mental clarity, but do we have this clarity of what our vision is, and are we able to focus on that? Because especially nowadays, there's so many distractions in our world, right? There's so many different avenues we could poke out to. Our attention spans have shrunk. But if we know our goal and we are aligned and we look at that vision, that goal every day, we can keep on track. We're going to have moments where we fall, we stumble. Allow yourself to fall. It's all part of it, right? And those fallings, when we do fall, when we stumble, those are part of the bigger teachings that we need in order to step up as leaders to help other people. I hope that answers your question. How does physical hydration influence a woman's mental clarity, creativity, and vision for the future? People don't realize, but oftentimes they are hungry. They think they're hungry. They're wanting to be filled with something. And a lot of times it's just simply that they're lacking hydrating water. When you're drinking contaminated water, this is slowing down the health of your cells. This is slowing down how fast and effective your immune system is working. So this is causing your body fatigue. And when we're fatigued, we can't fully function at our highest. So this is how water, when we're deeply hydrated, this is going into our cells. Our mitochondria is improved, where it's actually giving us energy. Water is supposed to give you energy. Air is supposed to give you energy, right? Your breath, the sun is giving us energy, right? And so what's foundational, what I'm saying is the clean water and then the optimized water of hydrogen water is going to give you that deep strength to be able to have the energy you need to do all the things in your day, including your business, including leading a team, right? So, in what ways can self care practices like hydration empower women to pursue bigger dreams? Okay, so I love this question. One thing I do personally in the morning is I have a water ritual every morning. I go to my water, I fill it up in my blue glass, and I hold it to my heart for 10 to 30 seconds and I think about my intention, my dream. What is it that I really want? You know? So I invite you to do that as well. Water holds memory, right? Water has been with us since the beginning of time. So we become this container for water to go in. And if our container is worried about what we need to get done and we're just drinking without even thinking about it, no gratitude, right? It's going into this container that's all over the place. But imagine you're this beautiful mug, your body is this beautiful glass or mug, and you're filling it with water, and it's so happy to be held within you because you're a container of love, a container of gratitude, a container of expansion. Any other questions out there?
Hello, Claire. That was a wonderful presentation.
Thank
Uh,
you.
you delivered it very perfectly and fantastic talk, Claire. And thank you for answering the questions. And we have a few more questions from the audience, Claire. So we will directly post it to your email so you can respond there.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your valuable time today. We are
Thank
honored.
you very much.
Thank you so much. And please be on the backstage and join the next session, Claire.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Well, to my live Instagram folks who listened, I hope it didn't cut out too much. I saw that the internet wasn't always connected. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my global women's empowerment speech. If you want to connect with me about anything, I just love connecting with people because you never know what you have to share with each other, what you have to offer, or why there's something pulling you guys us to connect and communicate. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. This was my first live, by the way. I don't even know how to stop it. I guess I'm just going to push X.